So, yeah, I guess we got to talk about this. I don't know if I want to, because this is probably going to get me in trouble. I'm sure smarter, more educated people than I am are covering this story. But yeah, it's a thing, and it's out there, and it's affecting a lot of us. So I guess I have to talk about it in at least some form or another. Basically, since I've recently been accused of being biased. And if I'm trying to be an unbiased reporter on the events that are affecting the tabletop role-playing game news industry, then I have to look at this. And I have to look at this from both sides, not just the Red Room side, but Drivethrough side. Is Drivethrough in the wrong for kicking Sylvia and Miguel to the curb after they made them money? Could Drivethrough have handled the situation better? Could Miguel and Sylvia and Red Room have handled the situation better? Is there any way this can be fixed? Is there any way this can be addressed so that it doesn't happen to another small press publisher? Is there any way I can tackle this topic without getting into trouble? Probably not. But as somebody who has suffered the slings and arrows of accusations and misrepresentations and being banned and losing my livelihood because of political correctness, I often have to ask myself, is the situation that happened to me completely the other person's fault? Did me losing my job did I play some part in it? Or was I completely innocent and just the subject of discrimination because I was a male working in, education at a time when men probably shouldn't have been working in education? I don't know. As I have grown up, I realize that most of the situations that befall me are not 100% my fault. They're not 100% somebody else's fault. I play a role. I made choices that led to the conclusions. Miguel and Sylvia and the Red Room made choices that led to this conclusion. Now, their first choice was making a small press, independent publishing that went against the norm of the time and placed it on Drivethrough, knowing that at the time, Drivethrough was kowtowing to the current political structure. Gaming is being homogenized. The SJW woke crowd is extremely powerful and forcing companies to make decisions that a lot of us are thinking are stupid. In hindsight, I think even some of the companies are like going, we probably shouldn't do that. But the time when they first got their very first rejection letter, Drivethrough was being very homogenized, very pro 5e. Hundreds and hundreds of people were attacking anything they put out that wasn't following the norm. So to be an independent publisher, to scratch that unique itch that they chose to scratch, to create product that was less than 100% homogenized, they were already going against a wave. Then you add to that, the language. They're from another country. Maybe they didn't understand how business works here and how publishing works here and how things like this work. Maybe they said things they shouldn't have said. We can look at this from their side. We can look at this from Drivethrough side, or we can look at the truth. And the truth is, we don't know. I don't know what went behind closed doors at Red Room. I don't know what went on behind closed doors at Drivethrough. I only know, based upon what I can see, what Drivethrough said, what they said, how people on their side responded, how people on Drivethrough sides responded. Did the response that Miguel and Sylvia got from the SJW crowd on the Drivethrough side go way, 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 way out of proportions and way, way, way inappropriate? I mean, the same crowd that are saying nothing but good things about thirsty sword lesbians are saying all sorts of horrible things, like death threat level things about Sylvia and Miguel. And basically, they're the exact same topic. I mean, what is the difference between men and thirsty swords lesbians? Nothing. They both attack the same genre. They both make fun of the same genre. Men is equally offensive to men and women. Thirsty swords lesbian can be perceived as equally offensive to men and women. Both of them chose to address a certain subject in a certain way, partially tongue-in-cheek, partially as an act of parody, partially as satire, and partially because there's, everybody had hidden political agendas. And to say, no, they didn't have a little bit hidden political agenda. Yes, they did. Yeah, of course they did. Even if they don't consciously know they had a hidden little political agenda, they did. So that brings us to today. So Miguel posted a series of his communications between himself and the Red Room on Facebook. So we're going to look at it. Since a lot of people are taking Drivethrough's accusations of hostile behavior as a fact, in this blog, we include the content of our emails directed at their publishing support team. This is a statement from Scott Holden's email about canceling the Red Room's account. Miguel, we have tried our best to work with you for the past year, but your stance toward our company and your treatment of our social media administrators has always been aggressive, bordering on abusive. We will not tolerate it any further. We're certain that if you've taken Drivethrough sides so far, you would still not believe the Red Room. No, that's the end of the quote. Further, period. We're certain that if you've taken Drivethrough's side so far, is addressing all the people that continue to attack Red Room, you will still not believe the Red Room and assume that these emails are not the only context we had with them, or you will consider these emails to be extremely hostile, bordering on abusive, in spite of the fact that they are not. So what he's saying here is we're presenting email communications, but are we showing you everything? Are you going to assume that there are other emails that we're not showing you? Is there any way we can be completely out in the open on this? Or are we coming out from under a huge rock? And yes, they are. They were, they had to swim upstream from day one when dealing with Drivethrough. Now, maybe they didn't know this. Maybe they didn't know that Drivethrough's political content, and how they treated other alternative people. Hey, 25. So we can give them day one benefit of the doubt. They didn't know how Drivethrough operated. So the first one is about wretched bastards containing the word rape. Let's read this if we can. It's in teeny little letters, so I don't know if I can. Open a new tab. No. Miguel, we've had some reports about the title description for Wretched Bastards, and we found this violates our product standards guidelines. Neither your work description nor any promotional material, including blog posts or press release, may contain racist, homophobic, discriminatory, or other repugnant views, overt political agendas or views, descriptions of criminal violence against children, rape, or other acts of criminal perversion or other obscene material without express written permission from one bookshelf. Please remove the mention of rape from the title's description. Okay? Nothing wrong with that. Somebody went out of their way to go through wretched, find this one word, and then contact Drivethrough at least enough times for the Drivethrough algorithm to go, hey, these people are complaining, maybe we should look at it. So let's also add to that there is a watchdog somewhere in the Drivethrough universe who has nothing better to do for their time than to seek out these non-5e publishers and find reasons to go after them. So this is the upstream Miguel and Sylvia had to deal with from day one. One, they're creating product that doesn't fit the homogenous Drivethrough role at the time. Two, there are individuals who have invested a lot of time and energy to go out of their way and target these alternative publishers. Pundit has a history. Venger has a history. Grim Jim has a history. I have a history. Storm has a history. I can, hundreds of people who have made alternative product. Of course, Drivethrough is okay with My Little Pony porn, and my Drivethrough is okay with thirsty sword lesbians, but they're not okay with Venger and Pundit and Grim and me and Storm and these other guys, and they're not okay with Red Room. All right, so that's what they said. How did Miguel respond? Hi, I really don't understand the moral standards that make the word rape forbidden while killing is okay, but I've removed it. Hostile? No. Questioning? Definitely. How should have Drivethrough responded? Probably an open communication, sending them a copy of the Drivethrough standard and practices and highlighting why certain words are bad and certain words are good. Why is killing okay and rape bad? Well, I mean, other than other word, the reasons why it's okay. Because, as we know, violence good, sex bad. A man killing a man or a man killing a woman, that's okay. A man raping a man or a man raping a woman is not okay, even though they're basically both horrible things that, but, to say that these awful things don't exist in the real world or don't exist in the hobby, okay, well, if we have to remove every awful reference to anything to fit the moral rightness that Drivethrough was trying to embrace at the point in time, basically you're going to have a bunch of product that looks exactly like, Strixhaven. And then today in the Red Room, Miguel and Sylvia present Wretched Starbucks. All right. Now, then we move on to Sexual Holocaust, which was temporarily suspended. Okay, so first and foremost, you released a product on Drivethrough called Sexual Holocaust. And the art is pretty... Now, did they put it under the adult section or did they put it in the general populace? Because Drivethrough has an adult section. And if you've ever willingly gone to Drivethrough's adult section, there are some things on there that are way more disturbing than anything Sylvia and Miguel made. I mean, if my choice is between the Red Room stuff and My Little Pony porn or some of the other weird stuff that's on Drivethrough, like that picture of the female vampire doing the thing to the other female just to get her blood and she has a thing. And yeah, that's okay. Thirsty Star Lesbians is okay, but this is not okay. So let's see what they said. A customer has reported your title as potentially containing offensive contents. We've had a quick look at the title and decided to temporarily suspend the title on Drivethrough pending thorough staff reviews of our content. Nothing unusual with that. We aim to review all titles within 2 business weeks. Okay, nothing wrong with that. Most titles we review are found not to contain offensive content are reinstated for sale in short order. Sure, yes. If that is the case here, the title will be whitelisted so other customers cannot report it again. For new releases, titles suspended during their initial release period, we will reset the title, blah, 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 blah. Legalese. Drivethrough is protecting themselves. We don't want you to accuse us of signaling you out. We go through this process with anything that might be questionable. Did you go through this process with Thirsty Sir Lesbians? We don't know. Probably, but maybe not. Miguel's response. I really don't understand the moral standards that make... Oh, sorry, wrong one. Miguel's response. The title was labeled as mature precisely to avoid these problems. It's not for children, even though there is no nudity. So it was mature. It was in the adult section. So this individual went into the adult section, found this, and said, something in the adult section is inappropriate for children. Something that is labeled mature is inappropriate for children. Why were you looking at this? Is my question to this person. Did Drivethrough do anything wrong? No, Drivethrough did what Drivethrough had to do to protect themselves. Is Miguel's response aggressive? Not really. I would say, he doesn't, as somebody who's done this for a long time, as somebody who's dealt with this level of bureaucracy, there are ways to address them where you come off as sounding like you just don't know, which is always a card I play. I always play the stupid card. I always play the I don't know card. So that they can explain to me exactly, and then I can copy and paste it. And then when it comes up later on, I can go, oh, but you said. So this could simply be, again, Miguel and Sylvia not understanding how this works. So yeah, no fault on either side on this one either. Our second reply after they repeated the same thing. Okay, well, I'm pretty sure games such as Cult and Degeneres, many old games and source books from White Wolf, Nocturne, Slat Industries, A-State, The Grindhouse Scenarios for Call of Cthulhu, several published adventures for Lamentations of the Flame Purchase, and many other items sold by Drivethrough have mentioned some of these mature subjects. And then there's the overt political agendas or views. Drivethrough's virtual selves are rife with games with political views. That is absolutely correct. Also, some of these sellers on Drivethrough have blogs, social media pages where they post about the political agendas and in my own opinion, hold their repugnant views. Should I assume that they all got written permission? Now, I have the feeling that being a small independent publisher leaves me at the mercy of the whims of social media trolls. Yes. If everybody who has ever disagreed with me about something on social media decides to tag one of my products as offensive, are you going to suspend all of them one by one? I mean, I mostly write mature horror stuff, and your list of guidelines is very much subjective. I can clearly understand what it means to contain blah, 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 blah. But what exactly is the act of criminal perversion? What is obscene material? It depends on who is judging it. Anyways, I will not censor my own product, so I will stay suspended. Could that have been written better? Absolutely. There is no question that if I'm Drivethrough and I'm reading this and I'm being told all the things I did wrong, I'm going to respond with everything at my disposal so that I do not end up being the bad guy. And if that means directing the arrows of inappropriateness and all the other things that they've been accused of at them, that's what I'm going to do. So yeah, could this be perceived as a hostile response? Absolutely. Is there a way they could have done this better to resolve the issue? Absolutely. Are they correct? Yes. There's nothing in here that Miguel's saying that is wrong. Everything on here is 100% true. But there are ways to say it. And, again, they're beginners. They don't know how it works. There's a language difference, So, again, we could say that there's a lot more things on their favor. There's a lot better ways that Drivethrough could have handled it too. Drivethrough made it personal. Miguel and Sylvia made it personal. So that's a mistake on both parts. Is Drivethrough completely innocent? No. Drivethrough has a political agenda, even if they claim they don't. Drivethrough is going to take some sides over the other sides. That's fine. That's what companies do. Every company does this in the United States. I can't speak for other companies. I can only speak for my personal experience with Drivethrough is a single-edged sword. It should be a double-edged sword. Cancel this, then they cancel the other books. Yes, they absolutely should. And we don't know. I don't know how many other things Drivethrough has canceled. I wrote them a letter. They haven't responded. So, yes, is Drivethrough in the wrong? Yes. Is Miguel and Sylvia in the wrong? Yes. Or let things exist. Let people's wallets decide. In a perfect world, absolutely. In a perfect world, Drivethrough would do nothing. If you have followed the letter of our S&P and put your thing out there, we will not say anything because at the end of the day, we are in the business to make money. Drivethrough, you are in the business to make money. And as long as Miguel and Sylvia's product follows underneath the S&P for the mature section, you should not have done anything. You should have simply said, you don't like the stuff? Don't look at it. We're still going to take their money. So, okay. Personally, there's very little redeeming. Men wasn't supposed to be redeeming. It was supposed to, poke fun, a satire of a certain subgenre of the industry. And there is definitely a market out there. Is Drivethrough the best place to have put it? Plus, with everything that is in their past, going forward, they said, hey, let's put this on Drivethrough, knowing full well that Drivethrough is already angry at us. Is that on Drivethrough? Is that on them? Again, we don't know. I don't know 100% with any level of authenticity what happened behind closed doors at Miguel and Sylvia's house. I don't know with any authenticity what this dude at Drivethrough was on the day that he responded. I have read the things that Sylvia and Miguel say about Drivethrough and about the people that are against them. I have read the accusations that people have made against Drivethrough. I've read the accusations that people have made against Sylvia and Miguel. Have many of those accusations gone way too far? Absolutely. Are Miguel and Sylvia deserving of the stuff that has been said at them and the attacks that have been made against them and the threats and everything else and the mental and emotional issues that they're now dealing with, because as well as the financial, because this has happened? No way, shape, or form. Are Miguel and Sylvia completely innocent in all this? No. Are there ways Miguel and Sylvia could have done this better? Definitely. Should they have consulted somebody who spoke legalese or had more of experience with this after the first run around? Probably. Is the language / different country thing something we need to, needs to be considered that perhaps Drivethrough did it? Absolutely. Did Drivethrough handle this as well as they could? No, they didn't. Whoever read those initial letters perceived hostility, whether it was there or not. And we can give some benefit of the doubt to Miguel and Sylvia because A, language, B, unfamiliarity with how the world of United States big business in the 20th, first century has to deal with the idiocy of the politically correctness and the fact that they've already got a history of going against people like Pundit and Grimm. But there's no way that Sylvia and Miguel could have known any of this. And it's not like Drivethrough goes out of their way to tell you that this is going to happen. Drivethrough does everything that Drivethrough needs to do to protect itself from every possible accusation it's going to protect, as well as kowtow to the current political structure of, if it's not 5E, burn it. Is that correct on Drivethrough's part? Absolutely not. Is it understandable on Drivethrough's part? Absolutely. Should they hold every single solitary thing on their bookshelf to the same level of accountability that they hold Sylvia and Miguel to? Absolutely. Do they? No, they do not. Why is thirsty sort of lesbians okay, but men is not? Why is My Little Pony porn okay, but Wretched Bastards is not? Why is killing okay and they're literally portraying a vampire R-word, another female to get some blood, okay, but a work of satire, not okay? So if I'm going to look at the pie chart and I'm going to, benefit of the doubt to Sylvia and Miguel, first round, 100% Sylvia and Miguel are in the right. Second round, benefit of the doubt to Sylvia and Miguel, looking at Drivethrough as the entity it was, plus that the first thing is already out there, still going to give the benefit of the doubt to Sylvia and Miguel. They were still in the right. Drivethrough could have handled things better. The third round, Miguel's letter definitely could have been handled better. Yes, I'm not saying it's wrong. Okay, I mean, yes, you're absolutely right. Drivethrough should have a rating system. Drivethrough should just let people vote with their wallets, but they don't, and they weren't, and they have a history of not that. But there's no way for Sylvia and Miguel to have known that because it's not like Drivethrough advertise it. So yes, there's 100 things Drivethrough could have done, and there's 100 things Sylvia and Miguel could have done. And did they say things that if I'm Drivethrough and I'm looking at what they're saying, I'm going to take it as a personal hostile against me? Of course they did. Does that happen in the real world all the time? Dude, work in any business anywhere for more than 5 minutes, especially in the US. And within the end of the day, I've told this story. I walked into a school as a sub, beginning of the day, school I'd never been in, didn't know any of the teachers, didn't know any of the students, didn't say more than 5 words. I was there for 6 hours. By the end of the day, I knew personal crap about people that I should not have known. I had heard accusations of horrible things about people that, as a sub, I should never have been told. And that's in the small micro universe of one preschool. So yeah, these things happen, dude. And people take it personally. Nothing travels faster than gossip. Nothing travels faster than bad news. People are awful, and they will attack you for any reason whatsoever behind your back, simply to make themselves feel better about themselves. Did I, any way, shape, or form, need to know the amount of shit I knew about that school by the end of the day where I was like, dude, I don't need to know this. Yeah, but that's the world. At least that's the world here in the States. I can't speak for the rest of the world. I can't speak of what experiences they had. I just know I had to try and be unbiased about this as possible because I've been accused of bias, especially in regards to stories like this and similar like this. As somebody who has had personal experience with the way the effed up world of United States business bureaucracy works, I could offer some insight, maybe. I don't know. In closing, is knowing what they were, I mean, they could not have not known that men was going to get attacked. They're surprised it happened so quickly, but really, are you? Because you already knew people were out to get you. And you already knew there was at least 2 people out there who has made it their life to make you miserable. You have your windmill. We know who my windmill is. I talk about it all the time. So you had your windmill, you knew, so that, and that one, yeah, kind of got to give a little more to Drivethrough on that one. You knew, you had to know they were going to go after men the second you made it available. But everything else before that, it's mostly on Drivethrough. Most of everything Sylvia and Miguel has dealt with over the past 2 years, most of the blame lays on Drivethrough. They're not innocent. Oh no, they're not innocent. I'm not saying they aren't. They play a small percentage in what happened. But if you look at Drivethrough, you look at the way Drivethrough treated them and the other individuals who have done same or similar things, as opposed to the way Drivethrough treats the companies who release stuff like, Covencraft and Thirsty Sword Lesbians and those things, and A Gamer's Guide to Drag. They get a pass, and Sylvia and Miguel from day one have not. So at the end of the day, other than men, yeah, the situation is mostly Drivethrough's fault. Drivethrough could definitely have handled things better. But somebody took a personal negative interest, and plus there are individuals out there who took a personal negative interest and decided to make that their clarion call for how the game should be, and how dare they show no parts. How dare a woman write it? How dare you, Sylvia, being a woman, write adventures? We know that, God, we know women in the industry get attacked just for being women. You guys can all fly your Critical Role flags, but I've seen the stuff the Critical Role flags say about Marisha and Laura from day one. So yeah, no, sorry, you politically correct people are pretty awful. So yeah, but I've been accused of being biased, especially after the little love letter. So I decided to do what was right. I looked at everything that I was aware of, and whatever. Are Sylvia and Miguel victims? No, they do play a percentage of what happened. Is Drivethrough at fault? Absolutely. It's there, and Drivethrough handled it inappropriately. If those letters had been on my desk, knowing what I know, and if I worked at Drivethrough, there is no way I would have responded. I would have tried to work with Miguel and Sylvia to get their product on my site in the most approachable way possible, because I want to make money off of their product. And that is my only job at Drivethrough at the end of the day. My job is not to be the moral police. My job is not to tell you how to think or what to read or what not to read. My job at Drivethrough is not to judge you on what you do at home, whether you like no product or you don't like no product. We have an adult section. We have a mature section. We have a useful for everybody section. We have individuals whose job it is to make sure all our publishers get their stuff up on Drivethrough so I can make money off of them. That is my job. And based upon my personal experience with Drivethrough, which has been awful, and based upon what I'm reading, that person did not do their job, and Drivethrough has lost money at the end of the day because of it. And more people are leaving Drivethrough to go to the other publishers who will publish their stuff, including Shameless self-promotion, Big Geek Emporium, who publishes all my stuff. If you haven't picked up the OGGM adventures that are up on Big Geek Emporium, pick them up now. They're all on sale for $2. 8 amazing products made from yours truly, inspired by Sylvia and Miguel, all under the Minions on the mission, on a mission. So Drivethrough, as more and more people abandon you to jump over to other publisher companies, especially since you're also bending a knee to Wizards of the Coast, you need to readdress how you handle the situation. I would have somebody new who has no knowledge of the case whatsoever look over the case again, reach out to Miguel and Sylvia and go, how can we work with you to make your product fit our current political structure so you can make money and we can make money? Because at the end of the day, Drivethrough, if ands or buts, sweep away all the nonsense. Your job is to make money, and you have failed at your job. I could say the same thing over and over and over again, which I feel like I already have. I wasted a lot of time, which I shouldn't have, but you know, I'm an idiot and I tend to pontificate, even though I've been told I need to make my videos shorter. But this one has an emotional resonance for me, so I may have gotten a little carried away, and I apologize. I have nothing against, I have nothing but respect for Big Geek Emporium, nothing but respect for Miguel and Sylvia. I understand how hard it must be for them, and I understand how they must feel knowing that I've personally suffered similar things to this. I can never work in education again, and that kills me a little every day. I spent 7 years of my life reaching to a position that I was really good at. But because I was in the wrong place at the wrong time and nothing travels faster than gossip and bad news, I ended up in the position I was placed in at the end of 2020. So I, more than anybody, probably sympathize from them. And I know how this can happen. And I know that there are better ways to handle it on both sides. And I completely understand what they said and the way they said it and how they said it. I understand their anger and their frustration and their depression and their fear of what will happen because of what Drivethrough is saying about them. So did they play a role? Yes. Is Drivethrough to blame? Absolutely. Could Drivethrough have handled it better? Absolutely. Was it Drivethrough's responsibility to handle it better? Absolutely. There's no question. That's it. That's all I got to say. Am I right? Am I wrong? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you want to support Red Room? Do you think they are the worst things on the face of the earth? Do you think I'm the worst things on the face of the earth? We know at least one individual who does. Have you liked and shared and subscribed to my product yet? If not, you should. Help me reach 1,500 subs by the end of April 1st, and we'll do something crazy. Till then, I'm the OGGM Adventurers, just one voice in the wilderness, trying to add a little level of sanity to the insanity that is our beloved hobby, so that maybe someday before I die, we can forget all this and just get back to remembering it's a silly little game about elves with sticks. That's all it is. It's all it was. It's all it ever will be. When we start making it to something else other than that, that's why when things like this happen. But what do I know? I'm an idiot. Get off my land, you damn marks. Head on over to Big Geek Emporium and buy Sylvia and Miguel's product under the Red Room. And then if you still have a few pennies left, buy my product because I need the money and I will sell out. See ya.